Welcome back to episode 8 of the Romans podcast, and we are here today in conclusion of the Southend fixture that happened on Tuesday, which finally happened on Tuesday, which we're happy about. And we are here with my usual co-host, Ollie Childs.
Hello.
And we've also got, again, for the second time on the podcast, he was on when we beat Dorking in the last round, and now for the next round, we've got Chris as well.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
Yep, Chef Chris. Basically just going over yesterday's game. Basically, well, it's yesterday at the time we're filming this because we're filming it on Wednesday. So Bath Southend. Ollie, what was your immediate thoughts of the performance yesterday?
Oh, mate, just take me back to those first 3 minutes where we were 1-0 up, and I was like, oh, this is a brilliant way to start the game. Immediately, we're showing that we're dominant, and then it's just, no, his toenail was like offside. I don't know what happened, but...
We don't know for certain.
We don't know what happened, so that's
at the time we're filming this, we were hoping the highlights would be out before here, so we could check it over, but we're still uncertain at this point, so we can't really fully tear into referee decisions or whatever. But from what I've heard from the people who are most trustworthy and most unbiased, they said the referee probably did make the right decisions in areas, but there's also a question of whether or not he made wrong decisions as well, such as the handball on the line. Obviously, it's a clear penalty, but what can Joe Raynes really do to move his hand out of the way? That's the big question there about, like, it's obviously a penalty, but can it be a red card if it's just hit his arm in the position? Like, I think the natural position rule should apply if there's absolutely nothing he can do to get his hand out of the way, you know?
Exactly. It's a difficult one because he's on the line and it looks like it hits his thigh, and because we've only seen one still image. Well, I've only seen one still image. It looks like it hits his thigh and arm at the same time, which is a really harsh decision. My thing with it was I can't believe how quickly the ref got his red card out. He was in he had no issue with just like, that's red, you're off. He'd made his mind up within a split second. He didn't take a second to consult with the linesman. He didn't take any just take a step back, take a breath, maybe have a second to think about it. He was just whoomp that.
I think it's the quickest I've seen a referee get his red card out, I think, ever, almost. He just like happened and the ref immediately got his red card out. It happened within a second, you know. It's like that incident where Binns got sent off at Maidstone. There was such a long bit in between that where the ref was actually talking about the reasons or whatever, and then red card comes out eventually. And then, I mean, Harvey Wiles-Richards against Dorking also took a little bit of a while. He had a bit of a chat and then the referee gets it out. This referee just went straight to his pocket, red, you're off. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's my issue with it. I'd rather the officials take a couple of seconds, consult with each other. Was that handball for you? Was that handball for you? There's two linos there to ask. You know, he took the decision completely by himself, and that's, you know, the referee can do that, but like I say, I think it's just better if he consults and gets a second and third opinion, which he didn't do. But it just seemed to, we went flat it was on 20 minutes and we just seemed to go flat for the rest of the first half. Understandably, you know, you're up against a top National League side with 11 players. We've got 10. It's gonna deflate the team. I'm just glad that they came out second half and really gave it a go. I thought they were brilliant second half. And also that, as Ollie said, that goal at the beginning, I think it was Alves scored, wasn't it? It was Alves' header?
It was a Raynes header.
Was it Raynes' header? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right. But then I read that's why I'm getting confused. Sorry. I read on the Southend report that Alves was stood offside and they gave it for that. So
it was a Parcell cross and a Raynes header. So I think that some people have said Parcell was the one offside. Other people I've heard from have said it was Joe Raynes who was offside. Again, we can't fully know. I mean, the real kicker would be if the highlights just got released while we were filming this. I mean, it might actually be helpful. We can get it out in the live talk about it. But I mean, even if it was the correct decision, obviously all referees make mistakes, so this is not me having a go, but no. I think I did do a bit of research into the referee to see if he has had a history of dodgy decisions at all. And there was a game in the National League this season between Eastleigh and Morecambe, and I think quite a few people were saying this in the ground, that this was quite a controversial moment that happened in the National League this season. So here, there's a Eastleigh player running into the box, and it looks like immediately there, I guess in real time, you can maybe see why that's a penalty, because there's a a leg that is out, but you can clearly see there that the foul happens quite clearly outside the box.
Quite a way outside the box. I'm not being funny, but on my first look at that, he was clearly outside. Even in normal time, without you slowing it down, he's clearly outside the box. Now, the rule is if it continues into the box, it's still a penalty, but it doesn't, does it?
Yeah.
It trips in.
It's a trip outside the box.
And then he rolls into the box, which is his forward momentum is always going to take him into the box. But
the
foul didn't continue into the box. So, yeah, that's a really poor decision.
And Eastleigh got a penalty, and that was Greg Rollison, who was the referee for Southend Bath yesterday, who gave that decision, and Eastleigh scored the penalty. But again, his assistant ref's there. Why didn't he go as the assistant ref? He's got an assistant ref, and none of them can say that's outside the box. So while we can't, conclusively say whether or not there was a wrong decision in either the penalty that was given against us, the red card that was given against us, the goal that got disallowed at the moment, we can say that this referee has had a history of being a bit dodgy.
Yeah, he's got a history of not consulting his linesman as well, obviously.
Yeah,
but he needs to understand he's part of a team. There's 3 of them.
Exactly. And I think that probably is what you've just said. I think that probably is what it is, because he didn't really consult his assistant referees much at all in that Bath Southend game. And obviously, if there's a clear foul outside the box, Eastleigh Morecambe, and he's not given that either, he's given that as a penalty, and he's not gone and consulted his linesman, then he's just got maybe a referee that has a bit of too much of an ego about him, and that certainly showed through yesterday. Like, a lot of the time, the referee just wanted to be the star of the show. He was just like, he was bringing players towards him. He was having like long chats with them. He was dishing out yellow cards for diving, like on Ash, which I think was a bit unnecessary. Like, it may have been a soft challenge, but there's no need to give it as a dive. I mean, from what I saw, again, we can't efficiently say, but I think there was a bit of contact. Ash goes down too easy. Sure, it's not a foul, but it's not a yellow either. Like,
yeah, it's just it's and they had the ball from that situation anyway. So a decent ref, in my opinion, would have just waved play on, because Ash was up top on his own. There was no danger once he'd lost the ball. He went down, and Southend can play it out at the back. Why you have to stop the game there, I don't know. But so that's my issue with that one.
Ref was a lot better second half though, but I do think he suddenly became a lot better as soon as Southend took a 2-goal lead. It was like, as soon as Southend were in the lead, like, suddenly the referee was like, okay, I've done my duty here.
It did feel like that. It really did feel like that. That may have not been the case, but it really did feel like that. As soon as Southend had the cushion, it was he seemed to ref the game fairly from my point of view. So, like, and obviously I'm a bit biased. I'm obviously going to be Bath, and I want all the calls, but it was so clear that the second half he was like a different referee. So I can't explain that one.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a key thing, maybe, that at half-time he maybe thought that in the first half he was being a bit too harsh towards us, and then just like, okay, I'm just going to ease it off a little bit. But, I mean, we don't want to speak too much about the referee. We just want to speak about our performance. That's just all the referee rambling out the way now. Let's get into the actual, how we played, because obviously we were down to 10 men. It wasn't going to be an easy game. Down to 10 men against the National League side who, are full-time. We've got a lot of fans that support them home and away. And in all fairness, I think the way we played both first half and second half, there wasn't really that much to be unhappy with, really. I think even defending, I think we've always realised that defending set pieces isn't our strong point. No. Like, obviously we saved the penalty and then we conceded from the corner. That can improve a little bit. But I think besides that, we defended very well, and we also, Harvey was fantastic, made a lot of saves too. Yeah,
I think, Harvey kept us in the game many times. But yeah, for me, that was one of the best performances of the season, even though we lost 3-1, and that sounds like a weird thing to say. I thought they were outstanding second half, 10v11, and they really took the game to them, and we were like a lick of paint away from equalising. I think it was Putman that he went through from the right wing, and I don't know if it went wide or if it hit the post, but it was certainly close.
I think it might have been Ash who had that shot. Maybe it might have been Putman. I don't know. I can't remember who it was.
I'm not 100% sure either. We're up in the stand.
We're quite hammered, yeah.
And, we were quite hammered.
In all fairness,
my eyesight's getting bad as it is. Like, so it might have been. I don't know, but I remember we went through and it was 2-1, and I just thought he was going to net it, and I don't know. He seemed to ricochet off something and then go up high, so I thought he hit the post, but I might be wrong.
We had some insane chances to equalise 2-2, and then that last minute free kick. I mean, obviously it caused us to concede another goal, but at the same time it was something we had to commit. We had to commit Harvey forward, and obviously Harvey's not a tall keeper, so there was no real need for him to be in the box.
No.
So he was the one to take it. You know, like if he was a bit taller, then I would have said get him in the box and some better person to deliver it. But I think Harvey's delivery was fine for that last free kick. And it was a counter attack. It was unfortunate, and Leon Chambers-Perillan scored for Southend and made it 3-1. Reason I know his name is because I once signed him on my Bath City Football Manager. But I mean, he was good on my Bath City Football Manager.
He was decent last night. In all fairness, there's a couple of Southend players stuck out for me. That was the guy that scored at the end. I think he was number 19, and their number 7.
They do say he's one of their star players.
Okay. Well, yeah, he was clearly one of the better players on the pitch. I haven't got a problem with that third goal because, you're on 92, 93 minutes. Just throw every player on the park into that box. Exactly what they did. If that drops to a Bath player and goes in the net, we're calling it a genius move from Darren to play to get Harvey to take the free kick. So I've got no qualms about conceding there.
I mean, I was even more ridiculous than like what other people were saying, because I was telling Harvey to get up for corners in the 80th minute, like, because I was like, we were down to 10. That's the thing. We needed to commit another man forward either way.
Yeah.
And obviously that's the sacrifice you got to make. Southend go up the other end and score. But realistically, the score yesterday was a 2-1 win for Southend. It wasn't 3-1. 3-1 does not reflect on how the game went at all. It was a very tight 2-1, and it could have easily been 2-2 at any moment. Although then again, having said that, Southend did have a lot of chances and Harvey had to make a lot of saves. But
that's Harvey's job, and
he
did it well. The scoreline flatters them, like you say, 3-1. It looks like they walked Bath over, but they didn't. No. And they didn't, and they had an extra man for 75-80% of the game. So I was very proud of Bath last night. I thought they really, really, really played well. I came away and I was gutted we went out, but I wasn't. I was walking home and I was like, they really put a shift in. Like every single player, they really did. Like, and that'll stand us in good stead for the league now, because if they can put that performance in against an extra man Southend, they play like that every week, we're going to get away from that relegation zone. I'm sure of it. So,
a few of us were certainly feeling the FA Trophy fever as well. I mean, Ollie will certainly know what I'm talking about when he saw me having a 20-25 minute spell where my heart would not stop beating fast.
I stopped watching the game and I was checking on you because I was thought, is this like? Maybe,
I think that was in a football match. I think that game, like in terms of being there, is the closest I've come to a heart attack. Not necessarily because it was a tense game, but I think the excitement and maybe the stress at times, I guess as well, got to me so much. I think it was after Alves had scored that free kick, I had a sort of feeling in myself being like, we believe here, we believe we can do this. And I was like, I thought after we banged that in that we would start like one of the most like insane comebacks of all time, because when we were down to 10, they're a league above, they're full time. I was like, we're down to 10. This is impossible. There's no way we're going to do this. We get one back, and then suddenly we look like a different team. And I'm like, if we do this, this would be probably the best game of football I've ever been to. And we're just unlucky that we couldn't in the end.
And that would be amazing. But then, like, I'll paint a fake scenario for you. After that Alves free kick, then the boys just go all in, and then Bath equalise, and you go, oh my god, it's brilliant. We've done it. We've equalised, and Oscar's on the floor.
That's the thing. I mean, on one hand, we're out the cup, but on the other hand, I didn't end up having a heart attack with a 90th minute equaliser.
And that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Leon Chambers-Perillan maybe was his favour for doing so well for me on Football Manager. It was like, I'll save you from having a heart attack too. But obviously, deep down, we all wanted to win. Even my heart wanted us to win, even if it meant it would have stopped beating at the end of it. It was a fantastic game. I think for some reason, I thought this at some point of the game. It was one of the weirdest, but one of the best games I've ever seen, because it had everything. And it had disallowed goal, had a red card. It had, like a absolute banger, like genuinely maybe one of our goals of the season, if not the goal of the season.
Oh, it's definitely up there.
It's between
30 yards.
The Alves free kick and the Tilson volley. Obviously, the Tilson volley has just made all that more special for the fact it was 90+5, and he hit it on the half volley and it went in. I think as a standalone goal, Alves was probably better because it was a bit further out and it was, off the crossbar. Everyone loves it off the crossbar. Yeah. But for the for the standards. I guess the standards were high in both, you know. It was a massive cup game for Alves' goal, and it was a 90th minute winner for Tilson's goal. It was like you can't compare them. Just enjoy them, man. You know,
it's crazy how good he is at free kicks. So like he's got like I haven't when I see a player over a free kick, 9 times out of 10 I'm thinking, well, this is going Rosette, this is going. But when Alves is over it, I honestly believe it's going on target.
I think he's the best free kick taker in non-league.
I think he's got to be up there.
I don't know much about other non-league leagues, obviously, but in terms of, let's just say, National League and National League South, I think there's only a couple of free kick takers who are on Alves' level. One of them is Jordan Young for Torquay United. He scores several free kicks and he's fantastic as well. But he's really the only one I can think of. I mean, Scott Davis for Slough scores a couple, but he's not like amazing to the standards of Alves or Jordan Young standards free kicks. So I genuinely think the best free kick taker in the National League, that being National League South, North and the National League, is between Jordan Young at Torquay and Jordan Alves at Bath. There's something about the Jordans when it comes to free kicks.
It can't be argued. Like the stats speak for themselves. Jordan scores free kicks so regularly. He got last round against Dorking did exactly the same.
I mean,
thing.
our last 6 goals that we have scored at this
Chipping them away,
point, the last 6 goals that we have scored in our last few games, 3 of them have been open play goals, all scored by Owen Windsor. The other 3 have all been direct free kicks from Alves.
That's
so
crazy.
6 goals, 3 open play for Windsor, 3 direct free kicks from Jordan Alves, and that was against Dorking, Chippenham and Southend.
Yeah, he's just unreal on them. Like, and long may it continue. It's just a shame. It's just a shame last night it didn't lead to getting back into the equaliser, but he did. It gave the crowd a lift when he hit that, and the crowd really got behind the team after that free kick went in. We were behind the team anyway, but
it was an amazing free kick. It's like a Declan Rice moment.
Yeah, it really was.
And
the
volume really, unfortunately, it did really go down, and we were really, really clinging on. And then again, like you said, that free kick, immediately everyone thought
it livened up the atmosphere. That free kick was the moment that just really the spark of Twatton Park came alive. It was like the crowd was much more riled up after that, and everyone was like, "Okay, now we're going for this." And it was like because I think this is obviously no disrespect to anything about the team or anything, but in that first half, I think it was probably the least enjoyment I've had of a Bath game, because there was the false hope of us scoring early. There was the red card. There was us going 1-0 down. The fact that it just looked impossible that we do anything. I just went into half time being like, I've spent a few extra days in Bath and now I'm going to go home depressed. But it was that goal in the second half that really livened it up, and it made it like a memorable game, even though we lost it. Like the fight we showed second half was like, it's a game of 2 halves. That game was the definition of it's a game of 2 halves, and the second half we deserved to win that massively, and even the first half we deserved to win it massively. It was until the red card where things went a bit downhill there.
Yeah, massive. The old cliche game of 2 halves. I felt the same at half time, exactly the same. I had the and I was just like,
I was angry at the referee as well, but that's always me in the moment. In the moment, I'm like, it's all the referee's fault.
In the moment,
we're all the same. In the moment, you got to claim it. You got to claim it, haven't you?
No, well, that's the thing. I think a lot of football fans, when they're that angry in the moment, they just want to blame it on the ref, because it's like, especially if a decision has gone against your team, you always blame it, and even if it is a correct call, you're just like, it's just so unlucky with these ref decisions.
I mean, I'm yet to hear at a football game. You know what, ref? Brilliant choice, Lino. You're doing an amazing job, mate.
I would say that
very good point.
There is one referee we have this season in which we're unbeaten with. His name is Jonathan Bolland, and whenever we have him for a game, I'm like, I'm his number 1 fan, because we're still unbeaten in games that he's refereed. He refereed both the Salisbury games and the Tunbridge game where we drew 1-1. So that's. I'm a number 1 fan of him, and also Zachary Cunningham as well, because he gave us a dodgy decision at Ebbsfleet. Yes. And that made us score.
I mean, it was totally justified.
When a ref gives a dodgy decision for your team, they're your best friend.
That's what I'm going to say. It's all right when it goes our way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine when it happens to us, but when it happens for another team, it's not allowed.
And exactly. And I also thought, the Southend fans are rather quiet, no? You didn't think?
Thing is, I know people are always like, the away fans are quiet and like they weren't really making much noise, but I think we kind of had similar at the Torquay, and I think it's more for the fact that in those open terrace areas, the behind the goal areas. We had it when we had to be forced there at Salisbury. We got bullied out of the pop side in the Salisbury game.
We chose to be there. We
chose. But it's like when you're trying to start chance from behind the goal, there's not enough echo at all. So it's like for that's in defence of the Southend fans, you know, they couldn't really be starting those chants and getting them echoing around. But you know, like, fair play to the supporters because they still had hundreds.
Yeah, no, fair play to turning out on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, still had hundreds, and they came all the way from the other side of the country. Which, I mean, you know, Torquay brought like obviously more than that, but they're much closer to us than Southend.
I think I'm just coming from it from I've watched Southend a few times leading up to this game because I wanted to see what they were like, and their fans were amazing. And I think I was just maybe my expectation was too high, and I thought they were going to make some real noise. And then
I guess it's like a cup game for them.
Yeah, with the postponement as well, maybe there was probably 600-700 less of them than there would have been. I think they would have brought the same as Torquay on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I think there would have been 1,000 of them. Well,
it's unfortunate, isn't it?
We was in the Crown Saturday before the game, and it was just full of Southend fans. And then we was in the Crown yesterday, and there was hardly anybody in there. So
yeah, it was a lot for a Tuesday night fixture. Like,
you know,
as Tuesday night fixtures go, there was a solid number there.
Oh yeah, no, it was 1,100 and all in all. But yeah, I just it's just a shame for the club that, you know, Southend couldn't bring another 700-800 like they would have on a Saturday. Yeah, and that's nobody's fault except the weather's, you know, and obviously people got work midweek, so it's very hard. I can't go to away games on a Tuesday night. It's almost impossible. You know, so yeah, I do sympathise with them. Well, like I said, I guess I was just up for more of a fan v fan banter. That didn't quite happen, but
yeah, that's how it goes, isn't it? Sometimes just unfortunate postponement.
Yeah,
that caused that. But I mean, moving on, obviously to our game this Saturday. I know neither of you will be there, but I will be there. Dover away. Dover in very similar form in the league to what we are. So I thought going into this, you know, especially considering we outplayed Dover in the home game earlier on this season, that it's a big game. And I think off the back of Southend, I mean, there was a lot of players that impressed me. You know, Fisher's back, Will Jenkins-Davis back. I was happy to see them both back, and that Ruben Shepherd guy who came on, I thought he was good. Also, you know, Putman as well. I think Putman has been
solid
quality for us.
He had to play at right back like nearly the whole game. I don't know if that's his position.
I think he is a right back.
Oh, is he? Because he was brilliant. I mean, because if he's filling in there, then wow.
Funnily enough, I think that might be the first time he has actually been put like in right back for like, you know, his actual position, because other times he's come on as an extra defensive player, and Raynes has still been on the pitch. But this time he was forced on the pitch because Raynes got sent off. Yeah. So now that he's been put in that position, you know, if he performs like that again, like that's a perfect fill-in for Joe Raynes, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. He was outstanding at right back, honestly. And yeah, like he covered everything. He's quick, and he's really quick. I was surprised how fast he was. Like,
on some of the balls that went
he's
out.
what we needed for a long time, because I think we've got fullback depth on the left side because Parcell can fill in left back for Danny Greenslade, but we've always struggled on the right side where Raynes is. So when something happens to Raynes, we never had someone. Now is the perfect opportunity for him at Dover. You know, I don't know if Raynes' suspension kicks in at Dover or if it's next week. It might actually be next week, in all fairness, because it usually takes a little while.
Yeah, I think it's a week's grace.
Yeah. So, but I mean, even then, you know, Putman's got a game coming up where he's going to be starting, and it's his time to prove it to us. To, you know, might actually help the competition for right back a little bit and push Joey as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Competition's always great. You spoke about that a lot on this podcast, and it's great that Joe's got a bit of competition at right back. Like, that was the first proper look we'd had at Putman, isn't it, since he's arrived, really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first time he's got plenty of minutes. I think he's come on a couple of times before, but like right at the end of games. But yeah, I had a really good look at him last night, and yeah, I thought he's fantastic. Like, so yeah, that's great news that there's competition at right back. There's competition coming all over the field, because Darren's really building that squad now. I really feel like he's really bringing in some good signings, and he's creating the competition, which is what all teams need. If you haven't got competition, players get stale, stagnant. I'm starting week in, week out. And, you know, as much as they care, as much as they want to.
I mean, look at how good Harvey's become since Binns has come in.
That's exactly the point I was just about to make.
Harvey had a lot of moments earlier in the season where he maybe made a mistake or two, but he's being so much more careful with not making mistakes now. And the way he performed against Torquay, the way he performed against Southend was fantastic. And like the competition in these positions is what is going to push our main starting 11 to become better.
Yeah, absolutely. All for the competition. Like you say, Harvey just it's been unreal since he's had a bit of competition. He kept that he kept clean sheet against Torquay and made some fabulous saves and last night, before...
Because, admittedly... Sorry, I didn't mean to...
No, it's fine, man.
Admittedly, when I saw him in the starting 11 before Southend, I was like, I wish we put Binns in goal because Binns is our cup keeper and I think he's a better keeper. But Harvey really, shut my mouth after that game because he was fantastic. He was man of the match.
Same, because I think we both said, I think even you said as well, Ollie, it's like, why isn't Binns in goal?
Yeah, and we were thinking you have him in the previous 2 ones in the trophy one. And then again... He proved us all wrong. Harvey
I thought...
And he listened to us. Especially on that penalty, I was bricking it. I was like, this is going in. This is going to be a 1-0. And then...
He stood still. He stood still.
I heard in his post-match interview that they'd done very good research into where Southend would kick their penalty if they did have one.
That's right,
and apparently... They said the Southend player was going to just whack it straight down the middle. So Harvey knew it and he was just waiting for it and he was nervous waiting for it down the middle, but he expected it. And
apparently, I saw the same interview and apparently that player, I can't remember his name now, whoever missed the penalty, but apparently he goes down the middle every time. So it's not hard for goalkeepers. And they keep him on penalties. Yeah, he goes every time he goes down the middle. I don't think he's ever put one in the corner, so it's a bit weird.
But
most goalkeepers dive out of the way, don't they? So I'm so glad Harvey did his research on that. It was a sickener to concede straight from the corner. But again, you're down to 10. Who's picking up who? They haven't had time to reorganise.
And also with 10 men as well. That was you got to remember the corner was basically as soon as we went down to 10.
That's what I
mean. And when you go down to 10, it's so much harder to organise a corner, especially because Joe Raynes is a big lad. Joe Raynes is always one of our main markers in the box. It was the fact that we were down to 10 that corner went in, and we were just unfortunate, really.
Yeah, that's pure bad luck because, like you say, you haven't got. Yeah, if the Southend player skies it and they get a goal kick, then who knows? But because he saved it, went for the corner, and like you say, it's so hard to organise a defence when you've just received a red card and you're trying to. I don't know if it was Joe's man that scored. It probably was, because it was a free header at the end. But, But we've seen the goal from Southend fans. I don't know if you have. So,
I've seen Southend socials, and they were pumping out all those behind the goal angles.
Yeah, they were.
Basically, as soon as they'd happened.
I think they must have had a media person in that crowd. They must have, because the quality of the quality of the footage they put it out as well. It doesn't look like somebody on their phone. It's like it's solid, so I think they had some social media. But that's because they're a full-time big club and they can employ these people.
I mean, they probably. Thing is, they probably will be a football league eventually. But I will say that having seen how they played in that game, I would have initially said they were probably the favourites to win the competition. But now I'm not quite so sure, because I think even though we played very well, I think the way they were playing, it almost felt a little bit lazy on their part, their team. I don't know if they were resting players or whatever, but especially their goalkeeper, I didn't think. In all respect to him, I didn't think he was all that good.
No, in all respect as well. Even the Southend fans, they I told you in the last podcast I was on, I've been having a bit of banter with the Southend fans on social media, and they all said to me, at least 5 of them said to me, just lob out keeper, because he stands on his area and he's SH, and so they don't, with the utmost respect, I'm not here to bag players out, but even their own fans don't rate him.
I'm sure he's not their first choice, because his number was 30, not number 1.
I think he is their first choice, though.
He's their first choice.
The highlights I've seen, that was the guy in goal. So,
Okay.
I would say if Southend do want to get to the Football League, then just make sure they stay away from Harvey and Binns, because they'll probably want to sign Harvey and Binns.
Yeah, we got 2 better keepers. I'm sure.
You got 2 better.
They're ours. You're not having them. Yeah, you're not having them. They're ours.
Yeah. I was going to say, I did think that was a backup keeper, but if that is their first choice, then...
Well, he was doing everything that they... And like I said, I've seen a couple of highlights, and he was in goal. And,
maybe their main keeper's injured, I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
We don't know.
But the Southend fans, they weren't very complimentary about him in the lead up to this game. And
he
did everything they said he was going to do. They said when you've got the ball, he will be stood in his own half, 30, 40 yards from goal, and he was and then that's what everybody was saying, just chip him.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, is what it is. I mean, maybe like a bit more long shots, but I think Southend did defend very well. So like in terms of us, you could tell we were trying to get long shots to lob their keeper, but the way that Southend had lined up in defence, I think the one thing that they did exceptionally well was keeping our like front line, in check. Let's say I think our midfield was fantastic, and there was a lot of midfield battles being won, but Southend did defend very well, and we did very well with a man down to create a few chances going past their defence too.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at their defence compared to our two forwards, we had Windsor and Ash up front, and they're physically not the biggest guys. They're fantastic players, but they're not.
I did think when Fisher came on that like we were creating some, like the Fisher's flicks on were fantastic. And
I missed that so much.
I know he's just come back from injury, but maybe if he'd come on like 5-10 minutes earlier, like game could have been different, because he was fantastic, Fisher. And I also think Fisher and Jenkins Davis, the fact that they're both coming back at the same time is key, because the first 3 or 4 games that Jenkins Davis played, he was playing with Fisher, and the way them two were working together was fantastic. Like Jenkins Davis assisted Fisher 1 goal, Fisher assisted Jenkins Davis another goal. There's something about Jenkins Davis where he works really well with that sort of big lad up front.
Yeah, he likes a target man, obviously, and that's and we have
he's played with Cody Cook last season, so
we like a Bath, as for as long as I can think. They've had a big guy up front, and we play that target man with a little man off him, like Brad, and it works so well. And it was great to see Fisher back. It was great to see Wills come back as well. Like you say, I shouted at them. I went over to them warming up at half time, and I shouted at them. I was like, Wills, get on at half time. Tell Darren you've got to get on. I said, you're running fine, mate. You look fit. You're running fine.
I did think it probably was still rushing him back a little bit too much, though. I think Will certainly still look like he still needs a bit more time. But I think Fisher looked great, to be fair. I think Fisher's almost 100%, and I wouldn't mind him starting one of the games up front with Windsor. I think Fisher and Windsor together would be a very interesting combo, and then maybe Ash out wide and Jenkins Davis.
Ash plays well out wide, so there's no reason that can't happen. But it would be great to see Fisher back in the starting lineup with, like you say, with Wills, and then hopefully we can kick on and get up that league, because I do not like looking at that league.
And I guess we'll see at Dover at the weekend. It's a massive game. Dover in pretty poor form. If we can get a result there, then it's basically our league goal now is just to focus on staying up. We do that, and it's a satisfactory season. It's a slow moving process. I think now we've got full focus on the league, it might actually even help in our favour, and we've got Somerset Cup as well coming up, which I think we'll hopefully go and see that to the end and win, because Western will obviously be too focused on their title charge for that. So fingers crossed. But I think we'll probably wrap up for today's podcast. Just run out of time a little bit too much. Thank you again for Chef Chris for coming on again.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me. Yep.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, Ollie, for co-hosting as always.
I'm here every week.
He's here every week. I always have to thank you, though.
You always have to thank me.
It's pure politeness,
Cheers,
we promote
cheers,
politeness on the show.
Cheers,
but thank you for listening, and we shall see you all next week. Goodbye.